Has it ever felt like your self-esteem has packed its bags, walked out the door, and left you wondering when it's coming back? You're not alone. In today's hyper-connected, hyper-judgmental world, it's almost impossible not to feel the sting of comparison or the weight of criticism. Whether it's the endless scroll through picture-perfect lives on social media or the pressure to meet everyone's expectations, self-doubt can creep in and take over without warning. But here's the good news. You don't have to live like this. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers timeless lessons to rebuild your self-esteem from the inside out. Instead of relying on the approval of others or fleeting successes, Stoicism teaches us how to cultivate an unshakable sense of self-worth that isn't swayed by external forces. Before we dive into 42 transformative ways to fix your self-esteem, let me tell you a story. It's a tale that might sound all too familiar in today's world, a story about losing yourself and finding the strength to rebuild. Meet Maya. She's 29, works in digital marketing, and is what most people would call successful. A well-paying job, an apartment with a view, and a carefully curated Instagram feed that screams, "I've got it all together." But behind the polished filters and the rehearsed smiles, Maya felt like she was falling apart. Every morning, Maya scrolled through her phone, comparing herself to influencers with picture-perfect lives. "Why don't I look like her? Why am I not as successful as him?" she'd ask herself. Every comment from her boss, even constructive feedback, felt like a personal attack. And every mistake, no matter how small, was another reason to doubt herself. One Friday, after a particularly rough week at work, Maya sat at her desk staring at her reflection in her blacked-out computer screen. "I don't even know who I am anymore," she whispered. Her self-esteem was like a sandcastle, washed away by the tide of constant criticism and impossible standards. That weekend, Maya decided something had to change. She came across a podcast on Stoicism and was intrigued. What caught her attention was the idea that self-worth should come from within, not from external validation or fleeting achievements. Maya started small. She wrote down one thing she liked about herself every morning. "I have a kind heart," she scribbled one day. "I handled that tough meeting well," she wrote the next. She also began practicing the Stoic exercise of separating what she could control from what she couldn't. When her boss criticized her presentation the following week, instead of spiraling, Maya paused. "I can control my response and learn from this feedback," she reminded herself. And when she found herself comparing her life to others online, she took a step back. "Their path is theirs. Mine is mine," she thought, closing the app. Over time, these small shifts began to add up. Maya's self-esteem wasn't about perfection anymore. It was about progress. She realized that her value didn't lie in flawless presentations or Instagram likes, but in how she chose to live her life and treat herself. Maya's story is a reminder that self-esteem isn't about being perfect. It's about accepting yourself as you are, working on what you can, and letting go of the rest. If Maya's story resonated with you, you're not alone. We've all been there, feeling like we're not good enough or like we've lost our sense of self. But here's the thing, just like Maya, you can turn things around. And today, we're diving into 42 ways to fix your self-esteem using the wisdom of Stoicism. Let's get started. 1. Your value is not tied to other people's opinions. Have you ever felt your mood rise and fall based entirely on what someone said about you? A single compliment can make you feel like you're on top of the world, while one criticism, no matter how minor, can send you into a spiral of self-doubt. It's as though your sense of self-worth is a balloon, floating freely in the hands of everyone around you, ready to be popped at the first sign of disapproval. The uncomfortable truth is that if you let other people's opinions define your value, you're handing over control of your happiness to forces you can't predict or control. In the world of Stoicism, this reliance on external validation is seen as one of life's greatest traps. Epictetus, one of the philosophy's most renowned figures, said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." In essence, he was encouraging us to stop caring so much about what others think and to focus instead on living according to our own values. This lesson is particularly relevant today, where social media has turned external validation into a public scoreboard. Think about it. How often do you post a picture or a status update, then anxiously check for likes, comments, or shares? Each notification feels like a tiny endorsement of your worth, while the absence of them can feel like a glaring indictment. But the reality is that other people's opinions reflect far more about them than they do about you. Their judgments are shaped by their own biases, insecurities, and perspectives, none of which have anything to do with your intrinsic value. The same principle applies in professional settings. Imagine a week at work where your boss praises you on Monday, only to critique you harshly by Friday. One moment you feel invincible, the next you're questioning your competence. The emotional roller coaster is exhausting and unnecessary. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a dedicated Stoic, observed that we often care more about other people's opinions than we do about our own. It's a sobering thought. How often do we prioritize their fleeting judgments over our own carefully considered values? So, how do you break free from this cycle of opinion addiction? It starts with defining your own standards. Take a moment to ask yourself what truly matters to you. Is it honesty, kindness, resilience, or something else entirely? When you measure yourself against your own principles, external opinions lose their power because you're no longer playing by their rules. Another critical step is learning to detach emotionally from other people's feedback. The next time someone criticizes or praises you, pause before reacting. Instead of letting your emotions take over, analyze the feedback rationally. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Is it constructive? Can I use it to improve? If the answer is no, let it go. Finally, remember the bigger picture. Think of other people's opinions as messages written in sand. No matter how harsh or glowing they may be, they'll soon be washed away by the tides of time. What remains is the foundation you build within yourself. Consider the story of Kevin. He was the friend everyone relied on, the one who never said no, even when it meant putting his own needs last. Kevin's fear of letting people down left him feeling trapped and exhausted. One day, after stumbling across Stoic teachings, he decided to change. He started saying no to requests that didn't align with his values, even if it meant disappointing others. At first, his friends were confused, and some even grew distant. But over time, Kevin noticed that the people who genuinely valued him stayed, while the rest faded away. Kevin's journey shows that when you stop letting others dictate your worth, you gain a freedom that's priceless. Your value isn't determined by how others see you, but by how you choose to see yourself. 2. Control what you can. Let go of the rest. We've all been there, stressing over something we have absolutely no control over. Maybe it's a sudden downpour ruining your carefully planned outdoor event, or a co-worker's grumpy mood making your day harder than it needs to be. In those moments, it feels natural to try and wrestle control over the uncontrollable, as if sheer willpower alone could change the outcome. But here's the truth. No matter how much you try, you can't control everything. In fact, the more you attempt to, the more frustration and disappointment you invite into your life. This is where Stoicism offers a lifeline in the form of the dichotomy of control. Epictetus explained it simply. Some things are within your control and some things are not. The key to a peaceful life is knowing the difference and focusing your energy on what you can actually influence. Think about a situation where everything seems to go wrong, like a big presentation at work. You've prepared extensively, rehearsed every detail, and planned for contingencies. Yet, on the day of the presentation, the Wi-Fi crashes, your laptop freezes, and your boss walks in late, looking distracted. In that moment, you might feel a surge of panic and self-doubt. But let's take a step back. What could you realistically control in this situation? You could control your preparation, your attitude, and your ability to adapt on the spot. The Wi-Fi, your boss's mood. Not so much. The same lesson applies in personal relationships. How often do we exhaust ourselves trying to manage how someone else feels about us? Whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a stranger, we pour energy into controlling their perceptions or emotions, only to feel defeated when they don't respond as we hoped. The reality is that we can't control how others feel. What we can control is how we communicate, how we treat them, and how we choose to respond to their actions. Releasing the need to control everything is not about giving up. It's about redirecting your focus to where it truly matters. Imagine standing on a beach, watching the waves crash against the shore. You can't stop the tide or change the direction of the waves, but you can decide whether to stand still, dive in, or walk away. Sarah, a freelance graphic designer, learned this lesson the hard way. She loved her work, but found herself constantly stressed about client feedback. One particularly harsh review left her questioning her skills and even her career. After discovering Stoic teachings, Sarah decided to shift her mindset. She focused on delivering her best work and communicating clearly with clients while letting go of their reactions. The result was transformative. Sarah's confidence grew, and she found greater peace in her work, knowing she had done everything within her power. By focusing on what's within your control and letting go of the rest, you not only free yourself from unnecessary stress, but also strengthen your sense of self. It's a practice that can transform not just your self-esteem, but your entire approach to life. When you embrace these two truths, that your value isn't tied to others' opinions, and that you should only focus on what you can control, you lay the foundation for unshakable self-esteem. Let's keep building on this foundation with the next truth. 3. Focus on what you can control. Life has a way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? A sudden downpour on the day of an outdoor event, a co-worker's snarky comment, or even the unexpected traffic jam that makes you late for an important meeting. Moments like these can send you into a spiral of frustration, as if sheer force of will could somehow undo them. But here's the hard truth. Trying to control the uncontrollable is a surefire recipe for disappointment. Stoicism offers a profound yet simple remedy. Focus only on what's within your control. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, made this distinction clear. Some things are up to us, our actions, thoughts, and decisions, and some things are not, such as the actions, opinions, or emotions of others. Once you understand this, you can stop wasting energy on things outside your influence and channel it into areas where you can truly make a difference. Take a moment to reflect on how much time you spend fretting over things you can't change. The weather, someone else's approval, the past. It's like trying to hold back the tide with a broom. It's not going to happen, and the only thing you achieve is exhausting yourself. Instead, imagine how freeing it would feel to let go of those worries and focus solely on what you can control: your response, your preparation, your attitude. Let's look at an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic on your way to a job interview. The cars aren't moving, the clock is ticking, and your anxiety is climbing. You could honk your horn, mutter angry words, or even consider turning around in defeat. Or you could pause and shift your mindset. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you use the time. Take deep breaths to calm yourself, review your talking points for the interview, or even call ahead to let them know you'll be late. The same principle applies to relationships. How often do we tie ourselves in knots trying to change how someone else feels or acts? Whether it's a friend, a partner, or a co-worker, we can't control their behavior. What we can control is how we communicate, how we set boundaries, and how we respond when things don't go as we hoped. This lesson extends to your self-esteem. When you focus on what you can control, your efforts, your mindset, your habits, you begin to see progress that's not dependent on external validation. Each small step forward builds confidence because you're no longer at the mercy of circumstances. Consider the story of Liam, a fitness trainer who prided himself on his ability to help clients achieve their goals. But when a client decided to quit despite Liam's best efforts, he felt like a failure. For weeks, he replayed the situation in his mind, wondering what he could have done differently. Then, Liam stumbled upon the Stoic concept of control. He realized that he couldn't force clients to stay motivated, but he could control how he communicated and supported them. By focusing on his actions rather than their decisions, Liam found peace and renewed confidence in his work. When you narrow your focus to what you can control, you reclaim your power. You stop wasting energy on the impossible and instead invest it in what truly matters. 4. Practice self-acceptance. If you're like most people, you're probably your own harshest critic. You replay mistakes, dwell on imperfections, and hold yourself to standards that would make even the most accomplished person feel inadequate. But here's the thing. Constantly berating yourself doesn't lead to growth. It leads to paralysis. If you want to build unshakable self-esteem, you need to practice self-acceptance. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of embracing reality as it is, including the reality of who you are right now. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just about accepting external circumstances, but also about accepting yourself, flaws and all. Think of self-acceptance as the foundation for all personal growth. You can't improve if you're constantly fighting against who you are. Imagine trying to plant a garden in rocky soil. No matter how much you water it or how carefully you tend to it, nothing will grow until you clear the rocks and create fertile ground. Similarly, self-acceptance clears the way for you to nurture your strengths and work on your weaknesses. This doesn't mean giving yourself a free pass to avoid change. Far from it. Self-acceptance is about recognizing your starting point and treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. If a friend confided in you about a mistake, you wouldn't berate them or tell them they're hopeless. So why do that to yourself? Consider Emma, a software developer who constantly compared herself to her more experienced colleagues. Every time she struggled with a coding problem, she'd tell herself she wasn't cut out for the job. This self-criticism paralyzed her, making it harder to learn and grow. One day, Emma decided to try a different approach. Instead of beating herself up, she acknowledged that she was still learning and that it was okay to ask for help. With this shift in mindset, Emma not only became more confident, but also more effective in her work. Practicing self-acceptance involves 3 key steps: awareness, forgiveness, and gratitude. First, become aware of how you talk to yourself. Are your inner dialogues harsh or supportive? Next, forgive yourself for past mistakes. You can't change them, but you can learn from them. Finally, focus on gratitude. Celebrate your strengths, no matter how small they may seem. When you accept yourself as you are, you give yourself permission to grow. You stop wasting energy on self-loathing and start channeling it into becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, self-acceptance isn't about settling. It's about starting. Only when you embrace who you are today can you take the first step toward who you want to become. By focusing on what you can control and practicing self-acceptance, you lay the groundwork for a deeper, more resilient self-esteem. These 2 truths go hand in hand, creating a powerful synergy that will carry you through life's challenges with grace and confidence. Let's move forward to the next truth. 5. Cultivate inner strength. When life gets tough, where do you turn for support? Many of us instinctively look outward, to friends, family, mentors, or even distractions like social media or entertainment. But there's a deeper, more reliable source of strength that often goes untapped: the reserves of resilience and fortitude within you. Stoicism teaches that cultivating inner strength isn't just a nice idea. It's a necessary skill for navigating life's inevitable challenges. Inner strength doesn't mean never feeling weak or vulnerable. Instead, it's about building the capacity to face difficulties without being overwhelmed by them. It's the quiet, steady voice in your mind that says, "You've got this," even when the odds seem stacked against you. This strength is forged not in moments of ease, but in the fires of adversity. Consider this: when a storm hits, a tree with deep roots may sway, but it doesn't fall. Inner strength is like those roots, anchoring you in your values and guiding you through the chaos. And just like those roots, it takes time and effort to grow. The Stoics believed that cultivating inner strength starts with recognizing what you can control and taking responsibility for it. This means accepting that hardships will come, but knowing you have the power to decide how you'll respond. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think of a time when you faced a challenge you thought you couldn't overcome. Maybe it was a tough breakup, a financial setback, or a professional failure. At first, it may have felt impossible to move forward. But as time passed, you likely discovered reserves of resilience you didn't know you had. That's inner strength at work. Take Sophie's story. Sophie was laid off from her job unexpectedly, leaving her feeling lost and unworthy. Instead of giving in to despair, she turned to Stoic practices. She began journaling daily, reflecting on what she could learn from the experience. She also started a habit of practicing gratitude, reminding herself of the skills and qualities that made her valuable. Slowly but surely, Sophie rebuilt her confidence and found a new job that aligned even more closely with her passions. Cultivating inner strength requires consistent effort. Start by challenging yourself in small ways. Embrace discomfort, whether it's a tough workout, a difficult conversation, or stepping out of your comfort zone at work. Each time you face a challenge, you strengthen your mental and emotional muscles, making it easier to handle bigger obstacles down the road. And don't underestimate the power of reflection. Spend time each day asking yourself, what did I handle well today? What can I improve on tomorrow? This practice not only builds self-awareness, but also reinforces the belief that you can adapt and grow no matter what life throws at you. Inner strength isn't about being invincible, it's about being unshakable. It's knowing that even when the storm rages, you have the roots to stand tall. 6. Define your own standards. How often do you measure your success or happiness by someone else's standards? Maybe it's the expectations of society, your family, or even the image of perfection you see online. The problem with living by external standards is that they're ever-changing and often impossible to meet. Stoicism offers a different approach. Define your own standards and live by them. Defining your own standards means taking the time to understand what truly matters to you, not what others say should matter. It's about aligning your actions with your values, not with fleeting trends or societal pressures. When you live this way, your self-esteem stops fluctuating with external approval and becomes rooted in something far more stable: your integrity. Imagine building a house. If the foundation is solid, the house can withstand storms. But if the foundation is shaky, even the slightest wind can bring it down. Your standards are that foundation. When they're based on your core values, they give you a sense of purpose and stability, no matter what's happening around you. Take the story of James, a young entrepreneur who was constantly comparing himself to others in his field. Every time he saw someone else achieve a milestone, whether it was a bigger office, a new client, or a feature in the media, he felt like he was falling behind. This comparison left him anxious and dissatisfied, even though he was achieving plenty of success by most measures. One day, James decided to write down what success meant to him. He realized that what mattered most wasn't the size of his office or the number of clients he had, but the quality of the relationships he built with those clients and the impact he made in their lives. Once he defined his own standards, James stopped obsessing over external benchmarks and began finding joy in his work again. Defining your standards starts with a reflection. Ask yourself, what do I value most? What kind of person do I want to be? What does success look like to me? Write down your answers and revisit them often, especially when you feel doubt creeping in. Living by your own standards also means learning to say no to things that don't align with your values. This can be difficult, especially if you're a people pleaser or someone who fears disappointing others. But every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to yourself and your vision for your life. It's important to remember that your standards are unique to you. They don't have to look like anyone else's. In fact, they shouldn't. The beauty of defining your own standards is that they free you from the exhausting cycle of comparison and allow you to focus on what truly brings you fulfillment. When you live by your own standards, you reclaim your power. You stop being a prisoner of other people's expectations and become the architect of your own life. This shift not only strengthens your self-esteem, but also brings a sense of peace and clarity that no amount of external validation can match. By cultivating inner strength and defining your own standards, you lay the foundation for a life of purpose and resilience. These truths are not just lessons, They're keys to unlocking a deeper, more authentic sense of self-worth. Let's continue exploring how to build on these foundations with the next truth. 7. Build small wins daily. Self-esteem isn't built overnight. It's the result of consistent effort, small victories, and progress that adds up over time. One of the most effective ways to strengthen your confidence is by creating a habit of achieving small wins every day. These wins, no matter how minor they may seem, provide a sense of accomplishment and reinforce the belief that you are capable of growth and improvement. Building small wins doesn't mean aiming for monumental achievements every day. It's about setting manageable goals that are within your control and executing them consistently. These could be as simple as making your bed in the morning, completing a workout, or checking off a task on your to-do list. Each small win signals to your brain that you're making progress, and progress fuels motivation. The Stoics often emphasize the importance of action over words. By taking deliberate, purposeful steps each day, you move closer to becoming the person you want to be. This process isn't about perfection, but persistence. Even on difficult days, finding one thing you can accomplish can shift your mindset from one of defeat to one of possibility. Small wins also help create momentum. When you experience success, no matter how small, it builds confidence and encourages you to tackle bigger challenges. It's a domino effect. Each win leads to another, creating a cycle of positive reinforcement that boosts your self-esteem and sense of competence. To incorporate this practice into your daily life, start by identifying 1 or 2 achievable goals each morning. Focus on things that align with your values and priorities. Celebrate each success, even if it feels insignificant. Over time, these small wins will become the foundation of your confidence and a reminder of your ability to make meaningful progress. 8. Develop emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. Emotional resilience is the ability to navigate these difficulties without losing your sense of self or letting setbacks define you. It's the skill of bouncing back stronger and learning from adversity. Developing emotional resilience is essential for maintaining self-esteem, as it allows you to face life's ups and downs with composure and confidence. Stoicism provides a powerful framework for building emotional resilience. The philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, while accepting what we cannot. This mindset helps prevent unnecessary suffering caused by dwelling on things beyond our influence. Emotional resilience starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to how you react to challenges and setbacks. Are you quick to anger or frustration? Do you let disappointment linger longer than it should? By identifying these patterns, you can begin to replace unhelpful reactions with constructive ones. Another key element of resilience is reframing adversity as an opportunity for growth. Instead of viewing challenges as failures, see them as lessons that can help you improve. This shift in perspective not only eases the emotional impact of setbacks, but also empowers you to approach difficulties with a problem-solving mindset. Practicing mindfulness can also enhance your resilience. Taking a moment to pause, breathe, and center yourself during stressful situations helps you respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This simple act of mindfulness creates a buffer between your emotions and your actions, allowing you to choose a response that aligns with your values. Developing emotional resilience takes time, but the benefits are profound. With each challenge you overcome, you build confidence in your ability to handle life's uncertainties. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about facing them head-on and emerging stronger. By focusing on small wins daily and cultivating emotional resilience, you create a solid foundation for long-term self-esteem. These practices empower you to approach life with a sense of purpose and strength, knowing that you're capable of growth and capable of handling whatever comes your way. Let's continue to build on these truths with the next lesson. 9. Embrace the present moment. One of the most overlooked truths about self-esteem is how often it's tied to living in the present moment. Far too often, we dwell on past mistakes, missed opportunities, or the what-ifs of situations long gone. At the same time, we obsess over the future, worrying about things that haven't happened yet, or chasing achievements we think will finally make us feel enough. This fixation on the past and future robs us of the one thing we actually have: the present. Embracing the present moment means grounding yourself in what is happening right now. It's about tuning in to your current experiences, actions, and emotions without judgment. The Stoics emphasized this concept, with Marcus Aurelius advising, "Confine yourself to the present." This isn't a call to ignore the past or neglect planning for the future, but a reminder that the present is where you can act, make decisions, and create change. When you embrace the present, you free yourself from the weight of regrets and the anxiety of the unknown. This shift in focus allows you to appreciate your efforts, notice your progress, and take pride in the steps you're taking now. Living in the moment doesn't mean forgetting your goals. It means recognizing that the journey matters as much as the destination. To cultivate this practice, start by paying attention to your surroundings. Take a moment to notice the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. If your mind drifts to worries or regrets, gently guide it back to the present. Practicing mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply pausing to appreciate your current task, helps anchor you in the now. The present moment is where your self-esteem grows. It's where you build the habits, make the decisions, and take the actions that define your self-worth. By embracing the present, you give yourself the gift of fully experiencing your life as it unfolds. 10. Challenge. Negative self-talk. One of the biggest enemies of self-esteem is negative self-talk, that relentless inner voice that criticizes, doubts, and undermines you at every turn. This voice often whispers or shouts things like, "You're not good enough," "You always mess up," or "Why even try?" Left unchecked, these thoughts can erode your confidence and make it nearly impossible to see your worth. Challenging negative self-talk is a critical step toward rebuilding your self-esteem. Stoicism teaches us to question our thoughts and examine whether they align with reality. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true. Epictetus reminded us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This applies not only to external events, but also to the narratives you tell yourself. The first step in challenging negative self-talk is awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts running through your mind, especially during moments of doubt or stress. Notice when your inner critic starts to take over. Instead of accepting these thoughts as fact, question them. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is there evidence to support this? Or am I being unfair to myself? Once you've identified a negative thought, reframe it into something more constructive. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be good at this," reframe it as, "I'm still learning and I can improve with effort." This shift doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about adopting a mindset that supports growth rather than defeat. Another powerful tool is self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. If a friend came to you with the same self-doubts, would you criticize them or would you encourage them? Give yourself permission to offer that same encouragement to yourself. Challenging negative self-talk is not about silencing every critical thought. It's about changing the relationship you have with those thoughts. By questioning their validity and reframing them constructively, you take control of your narrative and create space for self-esteem to flourish. By embracing the present moment and challenging negative self-talk, you take 2 transformative steps toward a stronger sense of self. These practices remind you of your power to shape your mindset and your life, one thought and one moment at a time. Let's continue this journey with the next truth. 11. Prioritize virtue over image. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in appearances. Social media, professional networks, and even casual interactions can make it feel like your worth is measured by how polished your life looks on the outside. But Stoicism reminds us of a deeper, more enduring truth. It's not how you're perceived that defines you, but how you live according to your values. Prioritizing virtue over image is a cornerstone of true self-esteem. Virtue, in the Stoic sense, refers to living with integrity, wisdom, courage, and kindness. It's about aligning your actions with what you know to be right, even when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This timeless advice emphasizes the importance of focusing on character over appearance. When you prioritize virtue, you free yourself from the exhausting need to constantly manage your image. You stop worrying about how others perceive you and start focusing on what truly matters, the quality of your actions and the consistency of your values. Living virtuously doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes, but it does mean you'll take responsibility for them and strive to improve. This shift from image to virtue strengthens self-esteem because it grounds your sense of worth in something unshakable, your character. External approval is fleeting and often beyond your control, but living with virtue gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment that no external force can take away. To prioritize virtue in your daily life, start by reflecting on your core values. What principles guide you? How can you align your actions with those values? Practice choosing integrity over convenience, courage over comfort, and kindness over apathy. Over time, these choices will solidify your self-esteem because you'll know, deep down, that you're living a life of purpose and authenticity. 12. Strengthen self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation of self-esteem. Without it, you can't fully understand your strengths, acknowledge your weaknesses, or recognize the patterns that shape your thoughts and actions. Strengthening self-awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. It allows you to see clearly, navigate obstacles, and make intentional choices. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-reflection as a tool for growth. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This highlights how much of our struggle comes from unexamined thoughts and emotions. By becoming more self-aware, you can identify these patterns, challenge unhelpful narratives, and replace them with ones that serve you. Building self-awareness starts with observation. Pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without judgment. Notice what triggers certain emotions or reactions. For example, if you feel a sudden wave of self-doubt, take a moment to ask yourself where it's coming from. Is it based on reality, or is it a story you've told yourself over time? Journaling is a powerful practice for cultivating self-awareness. Writing down your thoughts and experiences helps you process them more clearly and identify recurring themes. Over time, this habit can reveal insights about your values, goals, and the areas where you want to grow. Another key aspect of self-awareness is understanding your blind spots. These are the areas where your perspective may be limited or biased. Seek feedback from trusted friends, mentors, or colleagues to gain a fuller understanding of how your actions and behaviors are perceived. This isn't about seeking validation. It's about gaining clarity so you can align your intentions with your impact. As you strengthen your self-awareness, you'll develop a deeper understanding of who you are and what drives you. This clarity allows you to make decisions that align with your values, build habits that support your growth, and let go of patterns that no longer serve you. With greater self-awareness comes greater confidence in your ability to navigate life's challenges and embrace opportunities for growth. By prioritizing virtue over image and strengthening self-awareness, you cultivate a self-esteem rooted in authenticity and purpose. These practices remind you that true confidence comes not from how others see you, but from how well you know and live in alignment with yourself. Let's explore the next truths on this transformative journey. 13. Accept criticism gracefully. Criticism is an inevitable part of life. Whether it comes from a boss, a friend, or even a stranger, hearing someone point out your flaws can sting. However, Stoicism teaches us that criticism, when approached with the right mindset, can be a powerful tool for growth rather than a source of insecurity. The way you handle criticism says more about your character than the words themselves. Gracefully accepting criticism doesn't mean blindly agreeing with every negative remark. Instead, it's about listening with an open mind, reflecting on its validity, and using it to refine yourself if it's constructive, or letting it go if it's not. Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "If anyone can refute me and show me that I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after." This openness to truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is a hallmark of self-confidence. When you approach criticism without defensiveness, you create an opportunity to learn and grow. Ask yourself, is there something valuable in this feedback? Can it help me improve? Even if the delivery is harsh or unkind, separating the message from the tone allows you to evaluate it objectively. However, not all criticism is worth internalizing. Some comments stem from misunderstanding, bias, or malice. In these cases, Stoicism reminds us to focus on what's within our control, our response. If the criticism doesn't align with your values or isn't constructive, you have the power to dismiss it without letting it affect your self-esteem. Accepting criticism gracefully is a practice. It requires humility to acknowledge where you can improve and resilience to disregard unhelpful negativity. Over time, this balanced approach strengthens your confidence because it's rooted in self-awareness and a commitment to growth, not in seeking approval from others. 14. Master the art of letting go. Holding on to grudges, regrets, or unmet expectations can weigh you down like an anchor, preventing you from moving forward. Mastering the art of letting go is essential for building self-esteem and living a more peaceful, purposeful life. Stoicism teaches us that clinging to things beyond our control only leads to unnecessary suffering. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending challenges don't exist. It means releasing the emotional grip they have over you. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you let go of what you can't change, you reclaim your energy and focus it on what truly matters. One of the most common things people struggle to let go of is the past. Mistakes, failures, and missed opportunities can linger in your mind, replaying like an unwanted highlight reel. But dwelling on these moments won't change them. It only keeps you stuck. Instead, take the lessons they offer and move forward with greater wisdom. Another area where letting go is crucial is in relationships. People may hurt you, disappoint you, or fail to meet your expectations. Holding on to resentment or trying to change them often leads to frustration and pain. By letting go of the need to control others, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional entanglements and focus on nurturing the relationships that uplift you. Practicing the art of letting go also applies to your inner dialogue. Negative self-talk, unrealistic expectations, and the need for perfection can all hold you back. Letting go of these mental burdens allows you to approach life with greater self-compassion and resilience. To let go, start by identifying what you're holding on to and why. Ask yourself, is this within my control? Is it helping or hindering me? If the answer is no, practice releasing it. This could involve journaling, meditating, or simply reminding yourself that some things are best left in the past. Mastering the art of letting go is a process, not a one-time decision. Each time you release something that no longer serves you, you make space for growth, joy, and confidence. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about choosing to focus on what brings value and meaning to your life. By learning to accept criticism gracefully and mastering the art of letting go, you cultivate a sense of self that is both adaptable and grounded. These practices free you from the weight of external judgment and internal doubt, allowing you to move forward with clarity and strength. Let's continue this journey with the next truths. 15. Use daily affirmations. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way you see yourself. Negative self-talk can undermine your confidence, while positive reinforcement has the power to uplift and transform your self-esteem. Daily affirmations are a simple but effective way to reprogram your mindset, replace self-doubt with self-belief, and create a strong foundation for personal growth. Stoicism emphasizes the power of words, not only those we speak, but also those we think. Your inner dialogue acts as a guide, influencing your decisions, reactions, and overall sense of self. By intentionally crafting affirmations that reflect your values and strengths, you create a mental script that reinforces the person you want to become. Daily affirmations aren't about wishful thinking or pretending challenges don't exist. They're about grounding yourself in your potential and focusing on what's within your control. For example, instead of saying, "I'll never fail," a Stoic-inspired affirmation might be, "I have the strength to learn from my failures and grow." Incorporating affirmations into your routine can be as simple as writing a few positive statements each morning or repeating them to yourself during quiet moments. Choose affirmations that resonate with your goals and values, such as, "I focus on what I can control and let go of what I cannot. I am capable of handling life's challenges with strength and grace. I am worthy of love and respect, including from myself." Over time, these affirmations help reshape your thought patterns, making self-doubt less dominant and self-belief more natural. By practicing daily affirmations, you're not just repeating words, you're setting intentions, fostering resilience, and actively building the self-esteem you deserve. 16. Practice gratitude. In a world that constantly pushes you to want more, achieve more, and compare yourself to others, it's easy to lose sight of what you already have. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to this mindset. By focusing on the blessings in your life, no matter how small, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance and strengthen your sense of self-worth. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. It means acknowledging the good in your life, even amidst challenges. The Stoics encouraged this mindset, with Marcus Aurelius writing, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude grounds you in the present moment and reminds you of the resources, relationships, and opportunities that support you. One of the simplest ways to practice gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be monumental. A kind gesture, a moment of peace, or even your favorite meal can make the list. Over time, this habit trains your brain to notice the positives in your life, which can significantly improve your overall outlook and self-esteem. Gratitude also shifts the focus from what you lack to what you have. This mindset helps counteract feelings of inadequacy or comparison. Instead of dwelling on what others have, you begin to appreciate your unique journey and strengths. By practicing gratitude, you build a stronger, more positive connection with yourself and the world around you. It's a reminder that no matter what challenges you face, there is always something to be thankful for. And with that gratitude comes a deeper sense of contentment and confidence in your ability to navigate life's complexities. Using daily affirmations and practicing gratitude are transformative habits that nurture your self-esteem from the inside out. These practices not only enhance your mindset, but also create a ripple effect, improving your relationships, decisions, and overall quality of life. 17. Stop overthinking. Overthinking is one of the greatest obstacles to self-esteem. It traps you in a cycle of doubt, second-guessing, and mental paralysis, making even simple decisions feel overwhelming. While reflection and planning have their place, overthinking does little more than drain your energy and erode your confidence. Stoicism offers a simple yet profound solution. Focus on what matters and let the rest go. Overthinking often stems from a fear of failure, rejection, or uncertainty. You replay scenarios in your mind, searching for a perfect outcome or a foolproof plan. But life rarely offers guarantees, and the more you ruminate, the more you delay action and create unnecessary stress. Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In other words, instead of getting lost in thought, take decisive action and learn as you go. The first step to breaking free from overthinking is recognizing when it's happening. Pay attention to your mental patterns. Are you stuck replaying the same scenario or agonizing over decisions that won't matter a week from now? When you catch yourself overthinking, pause and ask, what's within my control right now? Redirect your focus to actions you can take rather than hypothetical outcomes. A practical way to stop overthinking is by setting time limits for decisions. Give yourself a reasonable window to evaluate your options and then commit to a choice. Remember, even the wrong decision can provide valuable lessons and opportunities for growth. Taking action, no matter how small, is often the best antidote to overthinking. Each step forward builds momentum and quiets the mental noise. By practicing this, you'll find that clarity comes not from endless analysis, but from engagement with the world around you. 18. Silence your inner critic. Everyone has an inner critic, that voice in your head that points out your flaws, doubts your abilities, and magnifies your mistakes. While this voice often masquerades as helpful, claiming to keep you grounded or realistic, it can be one of the most damaging influences on your self-esteem. Silencing your inner critic is crucial for building a strong, positive sense of self. The Stoics believed in the power of controlling your thoughts, understanding that they shape your reality. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your inner critic thrives on unchecked thoughts, but you can take back control by questioning and reframing them. Start by noticing when your inner critic is speaking. Pay attention to the language it uses. Does it sound harsh, absolute, or dismissive? For example, thoughts like, "I'll never get this right," or "I'm not good enough," are clear signs of your inner critic at work. Once you've identified these thoughts, challenge their validity. Are they based on facts, or are they exaggerations rooted in fear or insecurity? Reframing negative thoughts into constructive ones is a powerful way to silence your inner critic. Instead of, "I always mess up," try, "I'm still learning, and mistakes are part of the process." This shift doesn't ignore challenges, but approaches them with kindness and a growth mindset. Another effective strategy is to practice self-compassion. Treat yourself as you would a close friend, offering encouragement, understanding, and patience. Acknowledge that you're human, and like everyone else, you're allowed to stumble and grow. Over time, silencing your inner critic becomes easier as you replace self-doubt with self-support. This isn't about never having negative thoughts, but about not letting them control you. By quieting the critical voice within, you create space for confidence, resilience, and self-acceptance to flourish. Stopping overthinking and silencing your inner critic are essential steps toward building unshakable self-esteem. These practices free you from mental traps that hold you back and empower you to approach life with clarity and confidence. 19. Build a Stoic morning routine. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. A chaotic, rushed morning can leave you feeling scattered and unprepared, while a deliberate, focused routine can ground you in clarity and purpose. Building a Stoic morning routine isn't just about productivity. It's about creating a foundation for a day aligned with your values and priorities. The Stoics believed in beginning each day with intention. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote about preparing for the day ahead by reflecting on the challenges he might face and deciding how he would respond. This practice helps you approach the day with calmness and resilience, rather than letting events dictate your mood and actions. A Stoic morning routine doesn't have to be complicated. It begins with carving out a few moments of quiet reflection before the demands of the day take over. You might start by meditating or journaling, focusing on what you're grateful for and what you aim to accomplish. Ask yourself questions like, what is within my control today? How can I align my actions with my values? Another key aspect of a Stoic morning is setting your intentions for the day. Consider what truly matters and prioritize accordingly. This might involve identifying a few important tasks or deciding how you want to show up in your interactions with others. Physical movement is another valuable addition to your routine. Whether it's a short walk, stretching, or a more intense workout, moving your body clears your mind and prepares you for the challenges ahead. By starting your day with purpose and mindfulness, you create a steady anchor that keeps you grounded throughout the day. A Stoic morning routine isn't about achieving perfection, but about cultivating habits that support your well-being and resilience. 20. Engage in self-reflection. Self-reflection is the cornerstone of personal growth and self-esteem. Without it, you're like a ship without a compass, drifting aimlessly and reacting to life's events without understanding or direction. Engaging in self-reflection allows you to assess your thoughts, actions, and experiences, helping you grow stronger and more aligned with your values. The Stoics were strong advocates of self-reflection. At the end of each day, Seneca recommended reviewing your actions and asking, "What did I do well? What could I have done better? What can I learn from today?" This practice isn't about self-criticism, but about honest evaluation and continuous improvement. To engage in meaningful self-reflection, set aside time regularly, whether daily, weekly, or monthly. During this time, ask yourself questions that encourage deeper insight. Am I living according to my values? How did I handle challenges today? What habits or thoughts are helping or hindering me? Writing down your reflections can make the process more powerful. Journaling helps you organize your thoughts, track your progress, and identify patterns over time. It also creates a record of your growth, reminding you of how far you've come. Self-reflection also involves celebrating your achievements, no matter how small. Acknowledge the progress you've made and the challenges you've overcome. This builds confidence and reinforces the belief that you're capable of growth. Engaging in self-reflection requires honesty, but it also requires kindness. Approach the process with a mindset of curiosity rather than judgment. The goal isn't to dwell on mistakes, but to learn from them and move forward. By building a Stoic morning routine and engaging in self-reflection, you create bookends of intention and insight for your days. These practices not only strengthen your self-esteem, but also help you live with greater clarity and purpose. 21. Embrace discomfort. Comfort is a double-edged sword. While it provides a sense of ease and security, too much comfort can lead to stagnation, complacency, and a diminished sense of resilience. Stoicism teaches us to embrace discomfort as a tool for growth, reminding us that strength is built not in the absence of challenges, but in their embrace. Discomfort takes many forms: physical, emotional, or mental. It might show up as a tough workout, a challenging conversation, or the uncertainty of trying something new. Avoiding discomfort may feel easier in the moment, but it often prevents you from reaching your potential. Epictetus encouraged us to practice what is difficult so that we're better prepared to face life's inevitable hardships. When you embrace discomfort intentionally, you strengthen your ability to handle adversity. This practice, known as voluntary discomfort, involves stepping out of your comfort zone in controlled ways. For example, taking a cold shower, fasting for a meal, or tackling a task you've been avoiding are small acts that train your mind and body to endure challenges without fear. The key is to approach discomfort with curiosity rather than dread. View it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you think. Over time, the things that once seemed daunting will feel manageable, and your self-esteem will grow as you realize your capacity to overcome obstacles. Embracing discomfort isn't about seeking unnecessary pain or hardship, but about leaning into life's challenges with courage and determination. Each time you do, you build resilience, confidence, and a deeper belief in your ability to thrive in the face of adversity. 22. Align actions with values. Living in alignment with your values is one of the most powerful ways to build self-esteem. When your actions reflect your principles, you create a sense of integrity and authenticity that no external validation can provide. On the other hand, when your actions contradict your values, it creates inner conflict and erodes your confidence. Stoicism places great importance on aligning actions with values. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This advice challenges us to focus less on appearances and more on living in accordance with what we know to be right. To align your actions with your values, start by identifying what those values are. What do you stand for? What kind of person do you want to be? Take time to reflect on your principles and write them down. This clarity serves as a guide for decision-making and helps you navigate life with purpose. Once you've identified your values, examine your daily actions. Are they consistent with the person you want to be? If not, what changes can you make to bring them into alignment? For example, if you value honesty, but find yourself telling white lies to avoid discomfort, commit to speaking truthfully, even when it's difficult. Aligning your actions with your values isn't always easy. It often requires courage, especially when it means going against the expectations of others. But each time you choose integrity over convenience, you strengthen your self-esteem. You create a sense of self-respect that no external approval can replace. When your actions align with your values, you build a life that feels authentic and meaningful. You stop chasing validation from others and start finding fulfillment within yourself. By embracing discomfort and aligning your actions with your values, you take two transformative steps toward a stronger, more confident sense of self. 23. Develop a growth mindset. Your mindset shapes how you view challenges, failures, and successes. A fixed mindset, where you believe your abilities and qualities are set in stone, limits your potential. On the other hand, a growth mindset, the belief that you can learn, adapt, and improve, unlocks opportunities for self-development and builds lasting self-esteem. Stoicism aligns naturally with the concept of a growth mindset. The philosophy encourages us to see obstacles as opportunities for learning and growth. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this in Meditations. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This perspective transforms setbacks from barriers into stepping stones. Developing a growth mindset begins with how you approach challenges. Instead of fearing failure, embrace it as an inevitable part of progress. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's a chance to refine your skills, understand your weaknesses, and try again with newfound insight. Each attempt, regardless of the outcome, builds resilience and reinforces your belief in your ability to grow. Another key aspect of a growth mindset is focusing on effort over results. It's easy to get caught up in outcomes, but progress often happens in small, incremental steps. Celebrate your efforts and the lessons you learn along the way, rather than fixating solely on the end goal. Feedback is another powerful tool for cultivating a growth mindset. Instead of viewing criticism as a personal attack, see it as valuable input for improvement. This shift in perspective allows you to approach feedback with curiosity rather than defensiveness, accelerating your development and boosting your confidence. By adopting a growth mindset, you create a dynamic sense of self-esteem that isn't tied to perfection, but to progress. You learn to see yourself as a work in progress, capable of evolving and improving no matter where you start. 24. Practice non-attachment. Non-attachment is the art of letting go of outcomes, possessions, and even emotions that don't serve your well-being. It doesn't mean indifference or detachment from life, but rather a conscious decision to avoid clinging to things you cannot control. Practicing non-attachment is a powerful way to cultivate inner peace and strengthen your self-esteem. Stoicism emphasizes non-attachment through the concept of the dichotomy of control, focusing on what you can influence and accepting what you cannot. Epictetus advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." This mindset reduces anxiety and frustration by shifting your energy away from external factors and toward your internal state. Non-attachment begins with recognizing where you're holding on too tightly. Are you overly invested in others' opinions of you? Do you feel anxious about achieving a specific outcome? By identifying these attachments, you can begin to release their hold on you. Practicing non-attachment doesn't mean giving up on goals or relationships. It means engaging with them without letting them define your worth. For example, if you're working toward a promotion, focus on doing your best rather than obsessing over whether you'll get the role. This approach not only reduces stress, but also allows you to act with greater clarity and confidence. One effective way to cultivate non-attachment is through mindfulness. When you find yourself fixating on a particular thought or outcome, pause and take a deep breath. Remind yourself that your value isn't tied to external circumstances. Over time, this practice helps you build a sense of inner stability that remains steady regardless of what happens around you. Practicing non-attachment also applies to emotions. Instead of resisting difficult feelings like anger or sadness, acknowledge them without judgment. Let them come and go, like waves passing through the ocean. This acceptance reduces their intensity and prevents them from overwhelming you. By developing a growth mindset and practicing non-attachment, you create a balanced foundation for self-esteem. These practices free you from the limitations of perfectionism and external validation, allowing you to approach life with curiosity, resilience, and peace. 25. Cultivate inner peace. Inner peace is not the absence of problems, but the ability to remain calm and grounded amidst life's chaos. It's the steady confidence that comes from knowing you have control over your mind, even when you have no control over external events. Cultivating inner peace is one of the most powerful ways to strengthen your self-esteem because it allows you to navigate life with clarity and resilience. Stoicism teaches that inner peace begins with focusing on what is within your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This insight encourages us to stop wasting energy on things we cannot change, and instead direct our efforts toward shaping our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. To cultivate inner peace, start by creating moments of stillness in your daily life. These moments don't have to be elaborate. They could be as simple as a few minutes of quiet breathing, journaling, or stepping outside to enjoy nature. Stillness helps you center yourself, tune out external noise, and reconnect with what truly matters. Another essential practice for inner peace is learning to accept life's uncertainties. Worrying about the future or regretting the past often disrupts your mental balance. Instead, embrace the present moment as the only space where you can act and make a difference. This perspective not only reduces anxiety, but also enhances your ability to handle challenges as they arise. Cultivating inner peace also involves letting go of the need for perfection. Accept that you will make mistakes and face setbacks, but don't let these moments define you. Treat them as opportunities to learn and grow, and remind yourself that your worth is not tied to external outcomes. Inner peace is a practice, not a destination. Each time you choose calm over chaos and focus over distraction, you strengthen your ability to remain steady and self-assured. Over time, this practice transforms your relationship with yourself and the world around you. 26. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a thief of joy and a silent destroyer of self-esteem. When you measure your worth against others, you inevitably focus on what you lack rather than what you have, creating feelings of inadequacy and envy. To build unshakable confidence, you must break free from the habit of comparing yourself to others and instead focus on your own unique journey. Stoicism reminds us that external circumstances, what others have, achieve, or appear to be, are beyond our control. Epictetus wisely noted, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This isn't about devaluing yourself, but about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by others' opinions or accomplishments. Breaking the habit of comparison starts with shifting your focus inward. Reflect on your own progress, values, and goals, rather than constantly looking outward for benchmarks. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and remind yourself of the qualities that make you unique. Gratitude is another powerful antidote to comparison. When you focus on what you're grateful for in your own life, you naturally redirect your attention away from what others have. This practice helps you appreciate your journey and fosters a sense of contentment and self-worth. It's also important to remember that comparisons are often based on incomplete information. Social media, for example, showcases curated highlights of people's lives, not the full picture. Comparing your reality to someone else's highlight reel is not only unfair, but also unproductive. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you free yourself from the pressure to compete or conform. This freedom allows you to focus on what truly matters, becoming the best version of yourself. With time and practice, you'll find that your self-esteem grows as you learn to value your unique path and accomplishments. By cultivating inner peace and letting go of comparisons, you create a foundation of confidence and contentment that isn't swayed by external circumstances. These practices empower you to live authentically and embrace your own journey. 27. Practice humility. Humility is often misunderstood as weakness or self-deprecation, but true humility is a quiet strength. It's the ability to acknowledge your limitations, appreciate your progress, and respect others without feeling inferior or superior. Practicing humility is not only a cornerstone of Stoicism, but also a powerful way to build self-esteem that is rooted in authenticity and self-awareness. The Stoics believed that humility fosters clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not think yourself more than you are." This advice isn't about diminishing your worth, but about grounding yourself in reality. Recognizing that you are neither perfect nor all-knowing frees you from the need to prove yourself and allows you to focus on growth. Humility also opens the door to learning. When you approach life with the mindset that there is always more to understand, you become receptive to new ideas, perspectives, and experiences. This openness enriches your life and strengthens your confidence because you're not afraid to admit when you don't know something. Practicing humility involves letting go of the ego. This doesn't mean ignoring your accomplishments or suppressing your pride. It means understanding that your value doesn't come from being better than others, but from living in alignment with your values. When you measure your worth by internal principles rather than external comparisons, you create a self-esteem that is steady and unshakable. Humility also fosters stronger relationships. By approaching others with respect and empathy, you build connections based on mutual understanding rather than competition. These connections provide a sense of support and belonging that bolsters your confidence. True humility is a balance. It's about recognizing your strengths without arrogance and your weaknesses without shame. It allows you to grow, learn, and thrive without being weighed down by the need for validation or superiority. 28. Embrace mortality. Few truths are as universal and yet as often avoided as the reality of mortality. While it might seem counterintuitive, embracing the fact that life is finite can profoundly enhance your self-esteem and the way you live. Stoicism teaches that acknowledging mortality isn't morbid, it's liberating. The Stoics called this practice memento mori, or remember that you must die. This isn't about dwelling on death, but about using its inevitability as a reminder to focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." By keeping mortality in mind, you gain a sense of urgency and clarity that helps you prioritize meaningful actions and relationships. Embracing mortality shifts your perspective on setbacks and fears. When you remember that life is short, you realize that many of the worries and insecurities that consume your energy are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. This perspective frees you from the paralysis of overthinking and encourages you to take bold, purposeful action. Mortality also reminds you to appreciate the present moment. Each day becomes a gift rather than something to be taken for granted. This mindset not only enhances your gratitude, but also strengthens your self-esteem by encouraging you to make the most of your time and talents. To practice memento mori, take time to reflect on what you want to leave behind, your values, contributions, and relationships. Ask yourself if your current actions align with the legacy you want to create. This reflection isn't about perfection, but about living intentionally and authentically. Embracing mortality isn't about fearing death, but about fully embracing life. By accepting the finite nature of your existence, you gain the courage to live with purpose, integrity, and passion. This perspective not only enriches your life, but also builds a self-esteem that is grounded in what truly matters. By practicing humility and embracing mortality, you deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you. These truths remind you of the importance of living authentically, appreciating the present, and striving for growth in every moment. 29. Act with purpose. Living with purpose transforms the mundane into the meaningful. It gives your actions direction and ensures that your efforts align with your values. Acting with purpose isn't about grand gestures or lofty goals. It's about being intentional in how you approach each moment of your life. Purposeful action creates a sense of fulfillment and builds self-esteem by reinforcing the belief that your choices matter. The Stoics emphasize the importance of deliberate living. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time." Purpose is what gives weight to your actions, ensuring they're not just motions, but but meaningful steps towards something greater. Acting with purpose starts with clarity. Ask yourself, what are my core values? What kind of person do I want to be? How do I want to impact the world around me? Reflecting on these questions helps you define a personal mission that guides your decisions. Once you've identified your purpose, the key is to align your actions with it. This might mean prioritizing tasks that contribute to your goals, making time for relationships that matter, or saying no to distractions that don't serve your higher intentions. Even small, everyday actions can feel purposeful when they're connected to your values. Purposeful action also involves being present. When you focus on the task at hand, rather than rushing through it or multitasking, you create a sense of mindfulness that enhances your connection to your work and your life. This focus strengthens your self-esteem by reminding you that your time and energy are valuable. By acting with purpose, you create a life that feels meaningful and aligned. Each decision, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to affirm your values and contribute to the legacy you're building. 30. Take responsibility for mistakes. Mistakes are an inevitable part of life, but how you respond to them defines your character. Taking responsibility for your mistakes is a powerful way to build self-esteem because it shows that you're accountable, resilient, and committed to growth. While it may feel uncomfortable, owning your errors is a sign of strength, not weakness. Stoicism teaches us to view mistakes as opportunities for learning rather than sources of shame. Seneca wrote, "To err is human, but to persist in error is diabolical." Acknowledging your mistakes allows you to correct them, while denying or deflecting responsibility only compounds the problem. Taking responsibility begins with honesty. When you've made a mistake, resist the urge to make excuses or shift blame. Instead, acknowledge what happened and identify your role in the outcome. This doesn't mean taking on guilt for things beyond your control. It means owning your part in the situation and focusing on what you can do to make it right. Once you've accepted responsibility, the next step is to take action. Apologize if necessary, make amends where possible, and reflect on how you can avoid similar mistakes in the future. This proactive approach turns setbacks into stepping stones, reinforcing your ability to grow and adapt. Taking responsibility also requires self-compassion. It's easy to fall into self-criticism when you've made a mistake, but beating yourself up doesn't lead to improvement. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and recognize that everyone stumbles. What matters is how you respond and what you learn from the experience. When you take responsibility for your mistakes, you demonstrate integrity and accountability. This not only strengthens your self-esteem, but also earns the respect of others. By viewing mistakes as opportunities for growth, you transform them from obstacles into valuable lessons on your path to becoming your best self. By acting with purpose and taking responsibility for mistakes, you cultivate a life of intentionality and resilience. These practices remind you that you have the power to shape your journey, even in the face of challenges. 31. Simplify your life. In a world that glorifies busyness and accumulation, simplicity often feels counterintuitive. Yet, simplifying your life, removing unnecessary distractions, commitments, and possessions, creates space for clarity, peace, and self-esteem. By focusing on what truly matters, you align your energy and time with your values, cultivating a sense of fulfillment and purpose. The Stoics understood the power of simplicity. Seneca reminded us, It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. This wisdom highlights the fact that clutter, whether physical, mental, or emotional, often stems from wanting more than we need. Simplifying your life doesn't mean giving up everything. It means letting go of what doesn't serve you. Begin by evaluating your priorities. What truly adds value to your life? What aligns with your goals and values? Whether it's commitments, material possessions, or relationships, identify what enhances your well-being and what drains it. Simplifying might mean decluttering your home, saying no to unnecessary obligations, or reducing time spent on social media. Simplicity also applies to your mindset. Overthinking, overcommitting, and overanalyzing create mental clutter that distracts you from the present moment. Practicing mindfulness, focusing on one task or thought at a time, helps quiet the noise and fosters a sense of inner calm. The benefits of simplicity extend beyond the tangible. It allows you to redirect your energy toward what matters most, strengthening your sense of self and purpose. By letting go of the unnecessary, you make room for growth, joy, and connection. Simplifying your life isn't about deprivation. It's about making deliberate choices that reflect your values. In doing so, you cultivate a life of meaning and alignment, free from the distractions that dilute your sense of self. 32. Set healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are essential for self-respect and self-esteem. They protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being, ensuring that you can show up authentically in your relationships and responsibilities. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about creating a framework that supports mutual respect and understanding. The Stoics recognized the importance of maintaining personal integrity. Epictetus advised, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This wisdom underscores the need to define your limits and act in alignment with your values. Boundaries help you preserve your sense of self while navigating the demands of life. Setting boundaries starts with self-awareness. Reflect on what you need to feel respected, valued, and supported. Where do you feel stretched too thin or taken for granted? Once you've identified your limits, communicate them clearly and assertively. For example, if you need time to recharge, let others know that you're unavailable during specific hours. Enforcing boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to prioritizing others' needs over your own. However, standing firm in your limits isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect. Remember, people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries, even if they require adjustments. Boundaries aren't just about saying no. They're also about saying yes to what matters. By protecting your time and energy, you create space for meaningful relationships, personal growth, and self-care. Setting healthy boundaries strengthens your self-esteem by reinforcing the belief that your needs and values are valid. Each time you honor your limits, you send a message to yourself and others that your well-being matters. Over time, this practice builds confidence and fosters deeper, more authentic connections. By simplifying your life and setting healthy boundaries, you create a foundation of clarity and self-respect. These practices empower you to live intentionally and authentically, prioritizing what truly matters. 33. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Perfection is an impossible standard, yet many people tie their self-worth to achieving it. This mindset not only creates unnecessary pressure, but also leads to feelings of inadequacy and burnout. Instead of striving for perfection, focusing on progress allows you to appreciate your journey, celebrate your efforts, and build self-esteem through growth. The Stoics understood that excellence is achieved through consistent effort, not flawless execution. Seneca observed, "While we teach, we learn." This sentiment reminds us that life is a continuous process of learning and improving. Expecting perfection at every step only sets you up for disappointment, while acknowledging progress fuels motivation and confidence. Celebrating progress starts with shifting your perspective. Instead of fixating on what you haven't achieved, take time to recognize how far you've come. Reflect on the small wins and incremental improvements you've made, even if they seem insignificant. Each step forward, no matter how small, is proof of your dedication and resilience. Practicing self-compassion is also essential when embracing progress over perfection. Understand that mistakes and setbacks are part of growth, not signs of failure. When things don't go as planned, view them as opportunities to learn and adjust. This mindset not only eases the pressure to be perfect, but also strengthens your belief in your ability to overcome challenges. To reinforce this practice, keep a journal of your progress. Write down your achievements, no matter how small, and revisit them when self-doubt creeps in. Over time, you'll build a record of growth that reminds you of your capability and potential. By celebrating progress, you create a sense of fulfillment and self-worth that isn't tied to unrealistic standards. This approach fosters confidence and resilience, empowering you to continue growing without the burden of perfectionism. 34. Seek virtuous role models. Role models have a profound influence on how we see ourselves and what we aspire to become. Choosing virtuous role models, people who embody qualities like integrity, wisdom, and kindness, provides inspiration and guidance for building self-esteem and living in alignment with your values. The Stoics placed great importance on learning from others. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the virtues of those he admired, using their examples as benchmarks for his own behavior. He wrote, "If you find something better than justice, truth, self-control, courage, turn to it with all your heart. But if nothing is better, don't stray from these." By surrounding yourself with role models who exemplify these virtues, you gain a clearer vision of the person you want to become. Seeking virtuous role models begins with identifying the qualities you value most. Are you drawn to someone's resilience, humility, or compassion? Look for people, whether historical figures, mentors, or even peers, who embody these traits and whose actions align with their principles. Role models don't have to be perfect. In fact, observing how they navigate challenges and mistakes can provide valuable lessons in resilience and self-improvement. Learn from their successes and failures and adapt their approaches to fit your own life. Surrounding yourself with virtuous influences also helps counteract negative comparisons. Instead of envying others, you begin to admire and emulate their positive qualities, shifting your focus from competition to inspiration. By seeking virtuous role models, you reinforce the idea that self-esteem isn't about being better than others. It's about striving to be your best self. Their example serves as a reminder that growth and integrity are lifelong pursuits, and that your journey is just as important as the destination. By celebrating progress and seeking virtuous role models, you build a foundation of confidence and motivation rooted in authenticity and growth. These practices encourage you to honor your journey while drawing inspiration from others, empowering you to become the best version of yourself. 35. Engage in acts of kindness. Kindness is a powerful way to build self-esteem. When you engage in acts of kindness, whether toward others or yourself, you create a sense of purpose and connection that reinforces your intrinsic value. Kindness doesn't just benefit those on the receiving end, it transforms the giver, fostering feelings of fulfillment, gratitude, and self-respect. The Stoics emphasized the importance of serving others and living virtuously. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Man was made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth." This analogy underscores the idea that kindness and mutual support are fundamental to human nature. By contributing positively to the lives of others, you strengthen your own sense of worth and belonging. Acts of kindness don't have to be grand gestures. Small, thoughtful actions, a kind word, helping someone in need, or simply listening with empathy, can have a profound impact. These moments remind you of your capacity to make a difference, no matter how small, and help you see yourself as a person of value. Kindness also extends to how you treat yourself. Self-compassion is just as important as compassion for others. When you practice kindness toward yourself by forgiving mistakes, celebrating efforts, and prioritizing self-care, you create a nurturing inner dialogue that supports your confidence and well-being. Regularly reflecting on acts of kindness, whether given or received, enhances their impact. Consider keeping a gratitude journal where you record moments of kindness each day. This practice reinforces the positive effects of kindness and motivates you to continue fostering it in your life. By engaging in acts of kindness, you build self-esteem rooted in your ability to contribute positively to the world. This focus on connection and compassion reminds you of your intrinsic value, regardless of external circumstances. 36. Focus on effort, not results. In a results-driven world, it's easy to measure your worth by outcomes. Whether it's achieving a goal, meeting expectations, or gaining recognition, focusing solely on results can lead to frustration and self-doubt when things don't go as planned. Shifting your focus to effort, however, allows you to build self-esteem based on what you can control: your dedication, persistence, and growth. Stoicism emphasizes this principle through the dichotomy of control, focusing on your actions and letting go of attachment to outcomes. Epictetus reminded us, "Do your best and let fate decide the rest." This mindset helps you stay grounded in what you can influence while freeing yourself from the anxiety of trying to control what you cannot. Focusing on effort starts with redefining success. Instead of tying your self-worth to whether you achieve a specific result, measure it by the quality of your effort and commitment. Ask yourself, did I give my best? Did I learn something valuable from this experience? These questions shift the emphasis from external validation to internal growth. Celebrating effort also builds resilience. When you acknowledge the hard work you put in, regardless of the outcome, you create a positive feedback loop that motivates you to keep going. This approach fosters a growth mindset, where challenges and setbacks are seen as opportunities to improve rather than as failures. Effort-focused thinking also encourages you to enjoy the process rather than fixating on the destination. Whether it's working toward a career goal, improving a skill, or nurturing a relationship, being present and engaged in the journey enhances your sense of fulfillment and confidence. By focusing on effort, you build self-esteem that isn't dependent on external achievements. This mindset empowers you to approach life's challenges with determination and grace, knowing that your worth isn't tied to outcomes, but to the integrity of your actions. Through acts of kindness and an emphasis on effort over results, you cultivate a life of purpose, connection, and resilience. These practices remind you that your value comes not from perfection or external success, but from the intention and dedication you bring to each moment. Let's continue exploring the next truths to further enrich this journey. 37. Let go of regret. Regret is a powerful emotion that can weigh you down, keeping you tied to the past and preventing you from moving forward. While it's natural to feel regret over mistakes or missed opportunities, holding on to it serves no purpose. Letting go of regret is essential for building self-esteem and living a life of freedom and purpose. Stoicism teaches us that the past is beyond our control, and dwelling on it only creates unnecessary suffering. Epictetus famously said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." This wisdom reminds us to focus on the present and future, where our actions can still make a difference. To let go of regret, start by acknowledging it without judgment. Pretending it doesn't exist only buries the emotion deeper. Instead, reflect on the source of your regret and identify any lessons it offers. What can you learn from the experience? How can you use this insight to make better choices moving forward? Forgiveness is another crucial step in releasing regret. Forgive yourself for the choices you made when you didn't know better or lacked the tools you have now. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that growth often comes from these moments. Shifting your focus to gratitude also helps dissolve regret. Instead of fixating on what went wrong, concentrate on the things in your life that bring you joy and fulfillment. Gratitude redirects your energy from the past to the present, reinforcing your sense of self-worth. Letting go of regret doesn't mean erasing the past. It means accepting it and moving forward with the wisdom it has given you. This process frees you from emotional baggage and strengthens your confidence in your ability to create a better future. 38. Stay true to yourself. Staying true to yourself is one of the most profound ways to build self-esteem. It means living in alignment with your values, honoring your authenticity, and resisting the pressure to conform to others' expectations. When you stay true to yourself, you cultivate a sense of integrity and inner peace that no external validation can provide. The Stoics emphasized the importance of authenticity. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Be satisfied with your own nature and what it requires of you." This philosophy encourages you to embrace who you are, rather than trying to fit into molds created by societal norms or others' opinions. Staying true to yourself begins with knowing who you are. Take time to reflect on your values, passions, and goals. What truly matters to you? What kind of life do you want to live? Understanding these aspects of yourself provides a foundation for authentic decision-making. Living authentically often requires courage. You may face criticism, rejection, or misunderstanding when you choose to act according to your own principles rather than following the crowd. However, each time you prioritize your values over external approval, you reinforce your self-esteem and strengthen your sense of self. Staying true to yourself also involves setting boundaries. Protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being from influences that conflict with your values or drain your sense of authenticity. Surround yourself with people who respect and support the real you, rather than those who expect you to change to fit their preferences. Remember, authenticity doesn't mean being perfect or rigid. It means being honest about who you are and striving to live in alignment with that truth. By staying true to yourself, You create a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, rooted in a deep connection to your own identity. Letting go of regret and staying true to yourself are transformative practices that empower you to live with freedom and authenticity. These truths remind you that your worth isn't determined by the past or others' opinions, but by your commitment to growth and integrity. Let's continue exploring the next lessons on this journey of self-discovery and confidence. 39. Practice daily Stoic exercises. Incorporating Stoic exercises into your daily routine is like training your mind to become stronger, more resilient, and more at peace. Just as you might exercise your body to maintain physical fitness, Stoic exercises are a way to cultivate mental discipline and clarity. These practices, rooted in the wisdom of ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, are designed to help you navigate life's challenges with grace, align your actions with your values, and foster an enduring sense of self-esteem. One of the most impactful Stoic exercises is morning reflection. At the start of your day, take a few moments to anticipate the challenges you may face. Ask yourself, what situations might test my patience, integrity, or focus today? How will I respond to them? This mental rehearsal helps you prepare for the unexpected, making it less likely that you'll be caught off guard. Marcus Aurelius often began his day with a reminder that he would encounter difficult people and situations, but he chose to approach them with calmness and understanding. By adopting this mindset, you set the tone for a day guided by intention rather than reaction. Evening reflection is another essential Stoic exercise. Before bed, review your day with honesty and curiosity. Consider what went well, what didn't, and what you can learn from your experiences. Seneca advocated for this practice, noting that it helps refine your behavior and reinforces your commitment to self-improvement. This reflection isn't about self-criticism, but about recognizing patterns, celebrating progress, and identifying areas for growth. Visualization is a powerful tool in the Stoic arsenal. The practice of premeditatio malorum, or imagining potential setbacks, prepares you to face life's uncertainties with composure. For example, before a significant event, take a moment to visualize what could go wrong and how you would handle it. This doesn't mean dwelling on negativity, but rather equipping yourself with a calm and prepared mindset. By doing this regularly, you'll find that unexpected challenges lose their power to overwhelm you. Voluntary discomfort is another transformative exercise. Stoics believed in deliberately stepping outside their comfort zones to build resilience. This might involve fasting for a day, walking in the rain, or choosing a more challenging option when an easier one is available. These small acts remind you that you can endure discomfort and that your happiness doesn't rely on external luxuries. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental fortitude, making you less vulnerable to life's fluctuations. Journaling is a cornerstone of daily Stoic practice. Writing down your thoughts, reflections, and goals not only clarifies your mind, but also creates a record of your growth. Use your journal to articulate your values, outline your intentions, and explore how you're applying Stoic principles in your life. This habit fosters self-awareness and keeps you aligned with the person you aspire to be. The beauty of Stoic exercises is their simplicity. They don't require elaborate rituals or significant time commitments. What they demand is consistency and sincerity. By dedicating a few moments each day to these practices, you'll cultivate a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. Over time, the small efforts add up, transforming the way you think, act, and navigate life. practicing daily Stoic exercises isn't just a method for personal growth. It's a way to create a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. 40. Live according to nature. To live according to nature is to align your life with the natural order of the universe and your own true essence. It's one of the foundational principles of Stoicism, urging you to accept life as it unfolds and to act in harmony with its rhythms. This philosophy is not about retreating into the wilderness or rejecting modern life. Instead, it's about embracing a way of being that honors the interconnectedness of all things and the rational capabilities that make us uniquely human. The Stoics believed that nature is the ultimate guide to how we should live. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this idea often, reminding himself that everything in the universe operates according to a larger, interconnected system. By observing nature, we can see that life is governed by cycles: birth, growth, decay, and renewal. To live according to nature means accepting these cycles rather than resisting them. For example, rather than fearing change or loss, you recognize that they are inevitable parts of existence and opportunities for growth. At its core, living according to nature involves focusing on what is within your control and letting go of what isn't. Epictetus emphasized this in his teachings, urging us to direct our efforts toward our thoughts, actions, and attitudes rather than external events. By doing so, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, reducing unnecessary stress and frustration. Accepting what is beyond your control doesn't mean passivity. It means channeling your energy into what truly matters and where it can make a difference. Another aspect of living according to nature is embracing simplicity. Nature itself operates with effortless efficiency, and this principle can be applied to your own life. Simplify your routines, possessions, and commitments to focus on what genuinely brings you joy and fulfillment. This doesn't mean deprivation, it means clarity. By shedding what is unnecessary, you create space for what truly matters, whether it's meaningful relationships, personal growth, or creative pursuits. This way of living also encourages you to embrace your own unique nature. As a rational being, you have the ability to reflect, choose, and act in alignment with your values. Living according to nature means honoring your authenticity and rejecting the urge to conform to societal pressures that conflict with your true self. It's about striving to be the best version of yourself, guided by wisdom, courage, and compassion. Living according to nature also requires a deep respect for the environment and your place within it. Recognize that your actions have an impact on the world around you and strive to live sustainably and ethically. This awareness fosters a sense of connection and responsibility, reinforcing the idea that you are part of something greater than yourself. This principle teaches us to find contentment in the present moment. Nature doesn't rush or force outcomes, it unfolds as it should. By adopting this mindset, you can let go of the need to control every aspect of your life, and instead focus on living fully and authentically in the here and now. Living according to nature is both a philosophy and a practice. It invites you to align your actions with the natural flow of life, embrace simplicity, and honor your unique essence. This alignment creates a sense of harmony, purpose, and resilience, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence. Together with daily Stoic exercises, this principle forms a foundation for a life of meaning, balance, and inner strength. 41. Foster emotional detachment. Emotional detachment doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or becoming indifferent. It means cultivating the ability to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This practice, central to Stoic philosophy, allows you to maintain balance and clarity even in difficult situations. When you detach emotionally, you create space between your initial reaction and your thoughtful response, enabling you to act in alignment with your values rather than being controlled by fleeting feelings. The Stoics understood the power of emotional detachment as a tool for inner peace. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom encourages you to recognize that while you can't always control external events, you can control your inner world. Emotional detachment helps you remain steady when life throws challenges your way, ensuring your actions reflect reason and not impulse. Practicing emotional detachment starts with self-awareness. When you feel anger, sadness, or frustration, pause and acknowledge the emotion without judgment. Name it, "I'm feeling anxious," or "I'm experiencing frustration." This simple act of labeling creates distance and prevents the emotion from consuming you. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for fostering detachment. By focusing on your breath or the present moment, you anchor yourself in reality rather than letting emotions carry you away. Visualization techniques, such as imagining your emotions as passing clouds or waves, remind you of their transient nature. Detachment also involves accepting that you can't control everything. When a situation doesn't go as planned, remind yourself that your peace isn't tied to external outcomes. By letting go of the need to control what you cannot influence, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and disappointment. Emotional detachment doesn't mean avoiding relationships or challenges. It means engaging with them from a place of strength and stability. Over time, this practice strengthens your self-esteem by showing you that you can handle whatever life throws at you with grace and wisdom. 42. Cultivate patience. Patience is more than just the ability to wait. It's the capacity to endure delay, adversity, or discomfort without losing composure. In a world of instant gratification, cultivating patience is a radical act that fosters resilience, self-control, and self-esteem. Stoicism teaches that patience is not a passive virtue, but an active one, requiring effort and intentionality to develop. The Stoics often reflected on the importance of patience in navigating life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." This metaphor captures the need for endurance and adaptability, both of which are strengthened by patience. By practicing patience, you learn to embrace life's uncertainties and approach obstacles with calm determination. Patience begins with acceptance. Acknowledge that some things take time and that rushing often leads to frustration or mistakes. Whether you're pursuing a long-term goal, resolving a conflict, or waiting for an outcome, recognize that the journey itself holds value. Patience allows you to focus on the process rather than fixating solely on the result. One way to cultivate patience is through perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? This question helps you see the bigger picture and reduces the urgency of minor irritations. Another approach is to practice slowing down intentionally. For example, if you're waiting in line or stuck in traffic, use the time to breathe deeply, reflect, or observe your surroundings. These small acts of mindfulness build your patience muscle over time. Stoicism also encourages patience with yourself. Personal growth is not instantaneous, and mistakes are inevitable. Be kind to yourself when progress feels slow, and trust that consistent effort will yield results. This self-compassion reinforces your belief in your ability to overcome challenges and strengthens your resilience. Cultivating patience empowers you to face life with greater calm and clarity. It teaches you to find meaning in the journey, to trust in the timing of events, and to handle setbacks with grace. Together with emotional detachment, patience forms a powerful foundation for navigating life's complexities while maintaining inner peace and self-assurance. Fixing your self-esteem is not about overnight transformation, but about embracing small, intentional changes rooted in wisdom, self-reflection, and action. Through the principles of Stoicism, you've explored 42 powerful ways to strengthen your inner foundation, cultivate resilience, and live authentically. Each step, whether it's letting go of regret, fostering patience, or practicing daily Stoic exercises, is a building block toward a more confident and empowered you. Remember, the journey to self-esteem is deeply personal. Your progress matters more than perfection. Now, it's your turn to share. Which of these 42 ways resonated with you the most? Do you already practice any of these Stoic habits, or are you planning to start? Leave a comment below and let us know how Stoicism has impacted your journey, or which principle you're excited to try first. Your insights might inspire someone else to take their first step. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. By subscribing, you'll join a growing community of like-minded individuals committed to personal growth and living a life of purpose through Stoic wisdom. Together, let's continue exploring the timeless philosophy that empowers us to thrive in every aspect of life. See you in the next video.